With our Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon team drafted, it is now time for battle pools. All coaches are split into 4-person groups, battling every coach in that group to make it out on top. You must win 2 out of your 3 games in order to get out of pools to progress in the single elimination tournament. We have 2 weeks to battle the 3 opponents in our pool. Let's see how we do. Alright, we have our first battle coming up against one of our opponents in our pool. If you missed the team that I drafted, the video will be linked in the description below so you can understand the Pokemon that I brought for this fight and why I brought them over others. But our opponent for this match will be on screen now, but their team consists of Tapu Koko, Superior, Nidoqueen, Infernape, Skarmory, Sylveon, Crawdon, and Mega Slowbro, with Infernape and Tapu Koko being their Z captains. So, just right on paper, I'm not super worried about Tapu Koko because I have a Nidoqueen that kind of handles it really well. But outside of that, Z Infernape can be really scary. A setup with Crawdon and Sylveon also can be really scary just on paper. I have a harder time switching into Sylveon, especially if it's like a little bit faster and it gets like this Calm Mind boosts. With the likes of, getting hidden power, there's a lot that it can do. And also offensive Nidoqueen looked really scary into my team just because of how much coverage it has. Everything was essentially weak to it. So I had those Pokemon in mind that I needed to prep against, which is why I have these 6 Pokemon that I'm going to bring to this fight. So let's go over them one by one, and I'll kind of explain the EVs, why I brought them. So first one is Nidoqueen. Just like I mentioned, Tapu Koko is more than likely going to come, and Nidoqueen almost hard walls it. It really can't afford to use any of its stab because Nidoqueen is immune to electric and then resist the fairy moves, so it can take a hit and then threaten it with like an Earth Power back to KO it. He's essentially forced to swap every time. He can of course U-turn out a lot because Tapu Koko gets U-turn, so if he predicts the Nidoqueen, he gets momentum, but still Nidoqueen is eating a U-turn from a Tapu Koko. Especially with our investments, we're pretty much max HP, with a good chunk of defense in case he is a more offensive variant, on the physical side, that is. So we have 116 investments in there, 128 plus in the special defense. It allows us to live a lot of the special hits from Koko super well. It also allows us to live like Ice Beams from Nidoqueen if they're like Sheer Force Life Orb. And tank hits a little bit better from Sylveon, especially if it runs just like Hyper Voice and it's spamming it, or even Skulls from Mega Slowbro. And then we have 16 speed. This is mainly to speed creep the Nidoqueen if he is also a bulky variant and he isn't running any speed investments. So that's really what that's for. And it's also for Skarmory in case he has a little bit poured into speed. We can outspeed it and go for flamethrowers, and we can kind of deal with that. So Nidoqueen is going to be really important in this game. I've got to try to keep it alive as much as I can. But outside of Nidoqueen, of course, offensive opposing Nidoqueen looks really scary. Even though on paper I could have Sludge Wave, Superior looks really scary. And because of that, I needed something with a lot of special bulk to just kind of like tank hits and heal a lot. So we have this really bulky Mew, max HP, 96 plus the special defense, also calm. And they have 164 speed. So this is to outspeed max speed Nidoqueen outside of it being Scarfed, and everything else that's below it. So it outspeeds Sylveon, Crawdon, Skarmory, things like that. It can take the hits really well. Nidoqueen, the max it can do is, I believe it's around 50 with the Thunderbolt in electric terrain from opposing Tapu Koko. So I can kind of just heal on this thing constantly. We can figure out the set based on its damage and go from there. We always threaten with Psychic, which is why we have the Psychic. We don't really need investments into it. It deals a crazy ton of damage. And then we have a U-turn here. This is for mainly Crawdon or Mega Slowbro if they want to come out on the Psychic move. We get a super effective U-turn off, we get momentum, and then we go from there. And then Ice Beam is primarily for Superior. It's also just like a safer click into Nidoqueen. If we don't want to risk the Psychic, we just want to go for damage. So that's really what's that for as well. And then next up we have Blastoise. So it's holding the Wiki Berry. So if we get in range of this 25% or less HP, we are healing half of our HP back. So he kind of has like a life and a half if we play it right. These investments allow us to live most variations of what Crawdon can do. So if Crawdon comes in and let's say it Dragon Dances and we send in Blastoise, it's going to live like a dark move if it's not knockoff because we lose the Wiki Berry at that point. But let's say he crunches, we live it, we get our Wiki Berry up from our investments, and then we can fire off a signal beam, and it's going to do a big chunk of damage. It's not going to kill, but it's going to do a lot, so that way I can come in and threaten with a U-turn, or I can threaten with a sucker punch, which we'll kind of go over later on. But this helps us with like setup Crawdons. It also helps us with like ban Crawdons. We live a lot of variations of it, even like Life Orb, for example. We can play around that a lot. We have Rapid Spin just to kind of get rid of the hazards on his side of the field, right? Because we have the Stealth Rock on the Needle Queen, which I didn't talk about too much, but we want to get those hazards up if we can. Toxic to toxic things like Crawdon and Mega Slowbro if they want to set up on us. Same with Sylveon. It can be really beneficial from there. Skull just for stab, hit things like Inferno Beam, Needle Queen, and then Signal Beam is for that Slowbro and that Crawdon. I think this can work really well. Blastoise looks super good. So that's kind of the defensive core that I have right now. The combination of Mew, Needle Queen, and Blastoise kind of covers a lot of his team. So now we really need to start punching holes into his team, which is why we have Terrakion. So Choice, Scarf, Adamant. So the reason for us being Choice, Scarf, Adamant is his top 3 fastest team members are Coco, Superior, and Infernape. Terrakion can't outspeed any of them if either of them are Scarf. And if Infernape is or isn't Scarf, we have to speed tie it with our Scarf if we were to be timid, right? Or, I'm sorry, Jolly, right? Yeah, we want to be Jolly because timid's minus attack. Jolly. And even if that's the case, and we do get the speed tie, he also has priority Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave. So there's a good chance it just has that for the sake of Terrakion. So there really isn't a point to putting all the investments into that speed. So we just have enough to outspeed his next fastest model, which is Needle Queen, which is 276. So I have that 277. Pour the rest almost all on the HP, just to live more hits. And then if he is running more like a physical variant with Mach Punch, it just lets us live a little bit easier. Even things like Skarmory, if it wants to go for like Iron Head, of course we're going to live that better with our investments in the HP. And then if like Coco's physical, we can kind of take that just a little bit better. And that's kind of what that's for. It's also for like Aqua Jet as well. You know, if we're relatively full health, we can kind of live it. And then we can kill with a close combat, which we'll be spamming most of the time. We do have Quick Attack for those moments. Maybe if like Crawdon is going for that Aqua Jet, we can guarantee that Quick Attack. X-Scissor is there for Slowbro to deal super effective damage, because outside of that, I don't have anything super effective for it. And then EQ, as long as the Skarmory is out of the equation, we can start clicking EQs on things like Infernape and Coco, and even Needle Queen as well, because we don't have a super effective move for that. So we'll be looking for that. Terrakion's going to kind of be our end game winner. And then we have Torn T with the Flyinium Z. Sorry. So the Fly Z is for Hurricane. It'll make it 100% accurate, and we can confirm a KO on something. Again, I'm really worried about that Needle Queen, so that's mainly what this is for, because we don't have a super effective mood for it. Outside of Hurricane, we have U-Turn for Momentum, Sludge Wave for the Sylveon and the Superior, if we don't want to risk the Hurricane miss. And then we also have Heat Wave. Heat Wave is for the Skarmory, so we can hit that super effectively. Also, of course, it's Superior, like I mentioned just a moment ago. Sludge Wave is also really good for Coco, but most of the times I'm not going to stay in on Coco because he's faster and he has an electric move to kill us. But our investments, we outspeed all variations of Superior outside of Scarf. Max special attack just to deal as much damage as possible. And then we poured a little bit into our defenses here. I originally was Life Orb, which is why we have 3-1-1 in our HP. But I decided to change this to our Flyinium Z just because I think long term it's going to help us a bit more. We also aren't taking Life Orb Chip on top of Stealth Rocks, for example, if they're up, and kind of like losing out a little bit on the Regenerator in a sense. So I need this to kind of stay around and damage as much as I can to get things weak, so we can come in with Terrakion, right? And then our last Pokemon, of course, is Mega Mawile. We're not going to let Mega Mawile sit on the bench. It's definitely come in this match. We have a bit of a weird investments in the EVs, which I'll go over in a second, but let's look up at the moveset, right? Swords Dance, Thunder Punch, Play Rough, and Sucker Punch. So if he has a really defensive Skarmory, this Thunder Punch, of course, is going to do half, but that's also what we have Swords Dance for. You know, it can roost us. It can do things like Iron Defense. It can even Whirlwind or like set up spikes. So setting up that Swords Dance threatens it a lot. And then we're going to threaten with that +2 Thunder Punch. So it looks really good there. Can almost one-shot it, essentially, if we can get in a Sucker Punch range, because it's not gonna roost if it's like 10 HP and we're faster, right? So we want that Sucker Punch for that end game. It's also good for things like Mega Slowbro, right? If we don't want to risk a Play Rough missing and we know it's going to attack, because Sucker Punch is super effective damage. Sucker Punch is also good for offensive Needle Queen if it's not bulky, right? So it can't really threaten us with anything. Like, it can't toxic us. So it's almost forced to attack it, which means that Sucker Punch is going to be nice, especially if we get a Swords Dance up. And then if that Tapu Koko is, of course, choiced in any way, we can guarantee a Sucker Punch hit and hopefully kill it if it's relatively weak. And again, with that Swords Dance and the combination of, well, it's going to be really hard for him to play passive if he knows I have that. The EVs were just max attack adamant to deal as much damage as possible. And then 100 speed is to outspeed his 3 slowest mons, his fastest one being Sylveon in that case, of the Crawdon and Mega Slowbro that are below it. Because if they're not running any speed, we outspeed all of it. Even if he puts like 12 or 16 investments into a Sylveon, we still outspeed that, and we know it's kind of more of a bulky variant. Things like Crawdon or Mega Slowbro outspeed us, we know there's a lot of investments that are more than likely poured into that speed, which means that it's not going to be as bulky, right? The 80 and 20 investments allows us to live a lot of Crawdon sits, for example, same with Skarmory, and physical things like Tapu Koko. And then the 56 EVs allows us for like just comfortably living things like Hidden Power, Fire from Sylveon, things like that. Even like a close combat from Infernape doesn't kill us, and we can just threaten it with a Play Rough, or get an SD off, and then kind of play that Sucker Punch mind game, right? So that is our team. We have all 6 of these guys. I feel really confident with this team, and we'll just have to see what our opponent brings. So I will see you guys when the match starts. All right, we are ready to go. We'll say good luck, have fun to our opponent. And let's see. So he actually doesn't bring his superior, which is awesome, and he doesn't bring Sylveon. So that makes sense. I think Cook is a pretty strong lead. Honestly, so is Nidoqueen, to be honest with you. Truthfully, it might be a little scary leading the Mawile. So I might lead my Nidoqueen. And then if he leads his, good. Because if he leads Coco, I can just get my rocks up. So that might actually be better. I don't think he ever leads like Crawdon or Slowbro, and we could probably live a hit from Infernape and get off in Earth Power. So let's do that. Looks pretty good. He actually does lead Crawdon, which is crazy. John Craw. Okay. Cool, man. Let's zoom out once. Sorry. I kind of messed up the video by doing that. But we do have to go Blastoise every time. We are scared of the choice item here. So we will do that. Lead Crawdon is honestly crazy. Not gonna lie. He could just like straight up DD. Okay, Crabhammer. Okay, he crits me. Okay, I love my life. Life Orb. It's important. So, I mean, he could be. I think he would just DD, honestly, at that range. So he could go for a Toxic. I mean, not having my spinner would be really tough, but I don't really have a switch in for this. Crabhammer crit does 30 or 53 to 63. This is 49. Oh, sorry, this is best choice. 49. Yeah, it's max adamant, pretty much. I don't think it can be Jolly. If you get like knockoff, for example, which he might, not doing that much. Same with Crunch. So I don't think he crabs again. I am gonna send him Mawile. It's really a risky play, but I do want to get the Intimidate off, as I think he's gonna knock. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we can actually Mega Up. And to be honest, Skarmory is a lot safer than like sending a Nidoqueen, for example. It might eat the hit, but it'll go to half. So I will Thunder Punch. I guess we could Play Rough into Thunder Punch. Right. That's probably smarter. Because if he does the good Nidoqueen, it is half. So I'll do that. And he can't kill me from this range with Crabhammer. So I think he swaps. Yeah. Here's Skarmory. And we missed a Play Rough. It's fun. We will go ahead and just Thunder Punch. Iron Defense. He's fast with Iron Defense. It's crazy. And he's rocky. Okay, we do have to switch. I think we have to send in the Torn. Then Roos. I mean, he has to fear Heat Wave, right? Absolutely has to fear it. Though I still want to... Heat Wave in case he just doesn't do it, right? And we just U-turn here. Alright, it does 25. I mean, that's normal still, bro. I don't need to worry about the damage too much. I have my Mew for this Nidoqueen, but I am a little concerned about getting it a little low, but that's what we have soft boiled for, right? Or soft boiled. But we'll send it in once, I think. It could just like toxic or yeah, Thunderwave. Okay. That actually works pretty well. I wanted a toxic as opposed to anything on the Slowbro. Just cool. I will U-turn. I don't think he stays in. Yeah, it sends the Coco. This is perfect if I get this U-turn off. It'll do. Awesome. We'll send a Nidoqueen. Now, I will just rock here, because I do want Chip on as much as I can. He will just U-turn. I think that's more physically offensive. So, Tapu Coco. Let's check the U-turn damage. Okay. This thing might be... that Coco might be Adamant Band. I just gotta keep that in mind. Right. So, bro, I mean, I'm gonna send him again. I mean, this thing is Thunder Wave, right? He's probably going to avoid megaing it, which I don't blame him for, because he's just going to have that regenerator up for a lot of the time. These rocks are going to help out a lot. I don't think he's going to be having defog on this Skarmory. He just can't fit it. So the rocks are going to stay. He's not going to be ban defog on Coco either. So keeping that thing chipped is going to be really good. Also, the fact that it's banded means that if I can get in range of Sucker Punch later on in the game, it's going to be awesome, right? So... he did Scald there and reveal that. So I could U-turn and then send in my Blastoise, because I don't think he's going to set up hazards with this team, to be honest with you. So we'll U-turn. And then I'm just going to try to chip it with Signal Beam, to be honest. Especially with what this Rodon is. It's close combat food now. We just kind of have to worry about... we got paralyzed, and we got crit, so it's cool. We're trying to soft boiled this turn. Not the end of the world, because he's not going to send. I was going to say he's not going to send in Coco. All right. Okay, this is turning out great. Happens. I'm getting hacked out hard. Okay. To be honest, I think a U-turn does come out. I don't think Electric Move comes out, and you might read that. So let's look at Banded Coco into our Blastoise. So his U-turn does 21 min. It doesn't put us in range. It actually puts us 29. But what other option do we have, right? So if Nidoqueen and he let's say he Brave Birds, right? Brave Birds Choice Band does half. So I mean, that's chip though. We kind of just need to send a Nidoqueen again. He's probably just going to U-turn. Yeah. That's our better play. Because we need to get our Blastoise in range of his berry. Because if we just sent in Blastoise there, I think he has free real estate to send in like Crawdon or something. And even then, this thing still comes in. It's just so scary. I think we gotta let our Blastoise go. He might just Crab Hammer here and get me in range. Does Crab Hammer? Okay, I am in range of Wikiberry, so that's awesome. It's honestly really good. I don't think I'm going to be faster. That was just kind of tough. And I don't think Toxic is the most free. Because getting this thing dead is really important, so I will Signal Beam. He does send a Slowbro, which is perfect. Signal Beam is 23, which I'm cool with. He can Thunder Wave here, so I will just send back in my Mew. If he gets paralyzed, then awesome. He does double into the Coco. Good double. But still, we don't have too much of a reason not to just keep sending in Nidoqueen. But he's going to expect that at this point, right? This thing is getting really weak, though. Which is really important. I mean, if he Electric moves here, it's really bad. I don't think I can risk Tornadoes, because if he just Thunderbolts, I'm in such a horrible spot. Again, it's like the same situation. We don't need our Blastoise. So We're just gonna sack it. Oh, he knows the signal beam's coming out, so I don't know what he's gonna try to do. I mean, he does send an Infernape. We can try to figure out the set. So Grasslet does 47 max if you're max special attack. So we can know a lot from the damage roll, I suppose, right? And then if you're Scarfed, I'm not really worried about Terrakion taking it. Well, I am worried about Terrakion taking a Grassland. Does 82 max. It's kind of crazy. We just Scald here. We could Toxic, but I think we just gotta damage this. It does Z-move, so it's probably Grass. D Sunny Day. That's insane. That is insane tech. I'm not gonna lie. That's really cool. We still have an out, right? We have Sucker Punch. So that's cool. We also do have the Quick Attack. So it's not the end of the world. Skull did do 43. I think we just got to Scald again. Right? And he has Solar Beam. Okay. Interesting. So he's special. We could Sucker Punch here. Is he in range? I imagine. 32 to 38 actually is not in range. He's absolutely not in range. So Infernape, let's just say Fire Blast, right? Tornadus with the sun. 81 to 95, so I actually do live. And then we might have to Z Hurricane. Because that's like the strongest move you can go for, right? I'll just check, right? We'll just say 252. Yeah, I mean, even still, it doesn't kill, so we're just going to send Infernape, or Thorn. And then we're going to Supersonic Side Strike. Sorry about this. Stuff. I did live, though. I did live. Unless, I mean... unless he was modest, then he had a good chance to kill. Okay, so Coco's back. This thing's banded as all banded. Honestly, with this, well, this is still good for the Crawdon. But with the sun being up, it can be a little tough. He really wants this endgame with Nidoqueen. I just have to be really careful. I think I always just send in my guy, right? Yeah, there's a Brave Bird that I was worried about. 54 is crazy, mind you. $54 is insane damage. So let's just look at Coco, Voice Band, 252. It's 252 Adamant, mind you. So a Brave Bird, like, can we cycle 68 to 80? Just 29 recoil. So then I just swap again, and then I take the damage, which isn't good. Actually, if it's Adamant, can I outspeed a Torrent? No, if it's max, I actually don't outspeed it by 2 points. So maybe that's on me for my investments. I think I just let him Brave Bird me. I don't really need Nidoqueen. And I can just Sucker, right? So it's kind of cool with me. I'll just Flamethrower, right? That's fine. We're sending Mawile. I mean, we threatened the Sucker Punch, but we should always Sucker Punch, I think. Because he just comes in and he gets like one more hit. Which, I mean, he might want to do. Brave Birds is 32 to me. It's just tough if he swaps, right? I think I have to Sucker. That's fine. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the Nidoqueen would come in. Okay. Not the worst thing ever. I think I actually do have to Sucker. I'm trying to think of my endgame, actually. We might need Mawile for Slowbro. I think I just have to go Mew. I think this Slowbro might like end up winning him the game. I don't think I'm gonna be able to break it. Okay, Earth Power is 23. Actually does this. It must be very defensive. No way Earth Power is doing that little. So even sheer force. Does he have any special attack investment? He might not have any special attack. He might be like really defensive, right? So I can try to soft boil and heal here. Because if I psychic and he sends in Crawdon, obviously it's a bad play. But I've been U-turning all the time. I actually haven't revealed anything but U-turn. So we're hoping we can get this heal off. He does technically have like one more turn with Coco as well. So we're gonna have to play around that. And he can freely spam an electric move as well. So we just have to keep that in mind. Okay, does get the rocks up, which is a little annoying. The game rocks is tough. I mean, you can make the Crawdon play. I do want to U-turn, because I'm going to be slower, right? And so if he stays in, I can just swap again. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, 5%. Annoying. Very annoying. I mean, he could be, an Aqua Jet here and just like end my life. Let's actually check that. Torn into Raw Dog. Aqua Jet is 52. Oh, that's choice banded. My phone is 54 on top of rocks. I just had a tough spot. I mean, do we want to just like quick attack? There's no reason not to, I suppose. I'm kind of cool with that. This also prevents Coca from coming in either, right? And also prevents the Aqua Jet, which is pretty good. I don't really need the health on Terrakion either. Which is pretty good. Yeah, here's a Nidoqueen. We're obviously going to get Earth Powered here, so I mean, we just send in Mew. This is our counter. Earth Powered is Nish. We should soft boiled once here, though. Or we can try to get the Coco here. I think Psychic is worth it once. Okay, it's fine. 77. We do want to maintain health a little bit, right? We do have like free Thunder Punches though. I'll soft boiled once. I don't know. It's kind of tough. I think I'll double U-turn actually. I don't think he's gonna Thunder Wave again, and if he is, he's just nice. Yeah, it's gold. Okay. Yeah, I got burned. This game is. Yeah, I'm getting really unlucky. He did miss that Fire Blast though, which is awesome. That's the whole reason why I have Torn right now, to be fair. Here comes a Nidoqueen. Okay. I still can't EQ, which is really tough. I mean, I can just Sucker Punch spam, right? Not really, actually. I almost can, though. It's looking close to it. I mean, we just send in Madoka again, do we not? And then I think we U-turn this time. I think he's gonna send in Slowbro again. Yeah. If I break through, it's really good. It is. Send the Torn. We'll U-turn once more. I think he needs to keep this as healthy as possible for the Mawile. And I need to keep this thing healthy, so hopefully I can, like, one-shot it. He stays in. Probably Scald here. I got paralyzed. Tough. We can maintain health a little bit. So let's check real quick. Did 33. So 70 rocks, 25. We're at 45. 45, 33. That's 8. And then burn, we're at 2% health. And this thing is really low. So I think that's the play. That's on Skarmory. Rocky, of course. Actually really annoying. You just have to Heat Wave. Like, we just have to. I mean, getting the Slowbro read is kind of big, though. Oh, he sees the heat wave. He sees the heat wave. I have heat waved. I think I just U-turn. I think I U-turn and then like if he sends a slow bro, I'm all well. We're looking really good. I think his play is he slow bros on potential heat wave. Yeah, he slow bros potential heat wave and then like tries to come back and skirmery. Right. That's the play. That's not gonna work. And then we can just Thunder Punch here for free. I mean, Play Rough's honestly a little bit safer, but we do have Mew for Nidoqueen, so I think I have to read the Skirmery coming in. But Nidoqueen's also just more free. I could SD here, actually. I think I will. Yeah. And then we're Sucker Punch, right? Huge. Yeah, that is absolutely huge. That is so big. And then he might Iron Defense, so we just Thunder Punch. Absolutely massive, 60%. And he got paralyzed. Oh my gosh. I'm getting so lucky now. Sorry about X. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, I think we won the game with that. We should, right? The Slowbro should always die, even in Mega. Yep. Then, should be it. Should be it. That was a really close end game, like a really crazy end game, to be honest with you. Really happy with that. I didn't use Terrakion that much. That's fine. You know, I got really lucky with the Fire Blast miss on Torn, but we did get Hacks a decent bit as well, so it's kind of fair on both ends. Still sucks to lose to Hacks, honestly. Like, that Skirmery Paralyze genuinely kind of lost him that interaction. But that's Mons for you. So I'll kind of just wrap it up here. We are 1-0 now. That was our first battle. So the next video that we have, we will be fighting our next opponent, and as long as we win our next fight, the third match doesn't really matter. We've already made it out of pool. So we just need one more win across two opponents, and we'll see what happens. See you guys next time.